Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you a video that was almost a tweet. And then it evolved into me trying to do this video several times over because I went too long rambling. Um, Here's the thing, right? This has like two parts to it, and it's all under controller. And instead of making two videos, which would have been the smart YouTube thing to do, we're just going to talk about it here, okay? The first part is kind of funny, and this is where it truly came from with the tweet thing. Because I've seen now about two or three videos, and a live stream of people that are very smart about Valorant try to explain something very simple. Or, I guess in my humble opinion, miss the simple explanation for their question. And it's why players prefer Omen and Clove compared to an on paper Astra in pro play and in ranked Viper, who we know is strong, right? And why you couldn't convince too many people to play smokes in this game. An important role that Riot ended up fixing with Clove, and I feel that why Harbor is down there. This is mapped out the way it makes sense in my mind to explain why Harbor is down there. They kind of missed the mark, but they didn't. I think once the player base figures out some things, it'll be like more towards the middle, but it's everything. So, what am I getting at? Well, it's the number one thing in game design. Literally the number one thing. Player agency. Your player should feel like they're able to do something most of the time. Like, all of the time, they should feel like they have an option. And that's kind of where complaints about util, cough, cough, just Tejo, would have come in. And if I always feel like I'm just, no matter what corner, no matter how many things I've done, bam, here it is. And that's kind of, well, that's literally what I want to address here. Where with Omen and Clove, you can almost always be doing something. Yes, I probably won't use four smokes in a round, and I promise this is not just directed towards one person. This is, again, a conversation I've seen across several people that I'm like, guys, get it together. Um, it's like, yes, might not get that fourth smoke, but it feels like I could have. Okay? And more importantly, if something is happening to me, I can stop it from happening to me as Omen. More or less, right? You don't have complete freedom, but if I get tether naded here, I can stop that from happening to me here. If I get breach stunned here, I can leave and get to here. More or less. And then there's just also the infinite amounts of micro that ends up being macro. I can have now a character in my team's comp playing on top of a box, which gives me an entire new array of angles that I personally didn't have on controller before, right? I didn't have that. I have movement that I didn't have on controller. Well, okay. Literally, Omen was beta, but besides this, I don't have this on controller. That's more accurate to say. Um, we're seeing less Jet, right? So Jet Rays could get up here. Waylay can now get on here, and we will come to Waylay when I start talking about the part two. Funny enough, but what initiator is getting up here? And then I have Chamber and Veto that can now get up here. That's valuable. That's massive stonks. But coming back to literally just the agency of it, if my enemy has a plan for me here, and I just want to say this really quick, I don't really have the room to speak as far as like telling pro players what to do, but I'm gonna do it here. Y'all need to get it the fuck together on where we're playing on platform. I've seen way too many people die here. And I was like, yeah, I was looking at the GC tournament, of course. I was like, man, this is like a bad spot for them. And then I went back. I'm like, no, this is a bad spot for people in general. Like, stop just trying to play fucking here. You need a better plan than putting your Viper here and the wall and hoping that you can do that. Which brings me to literally this comparison, okay? So, going back, right? If I'm Omen, I'm here. We've already talked, I can teleport, right? If I'm Astra playing here, maybe I gave myself a smoke to try to cross if something starts happening to me, but I have to activate it and hope I don't get spammed out while I'm trying to cross. So while Astra is pretty strong, you could have a star um, su- do the suck so they can't advance into you, right? While you're trying to smoke across, if you have 2 stars up. But I've blown 2 stars to hopefully not die in a situation that if I was Omen, I would just still have smokes, not on cooldown, and just be out of the situation. So I thought it's kind of funny listening to some of the explanations. Just like, yeah, Omen is just fun, and like this, right? That teleport is the answer, but not in the same reason. Like, yeah, everybody does want the moment that they can go for a crazy TikTok play. Oh my gosh, I'm playing here. They're flooding out. I paranoia. Teleports behind you. Gets 3. Cool. Everybody wants to do that. That's fun. But the reality is, Valorant is not random, but random too. My teammates drop off on A, and the Rays, whatever, they want to end back to my ass on C, or I've rotated and been caught B. If I get spammed here, if I get only one shot here, I know that I can't cross this because they're holding me. I teleport across. End of day. And end of that situation, I should say, right? Like I can just leave the situation. And then come into Clove, who can't teleport, right? Literally, as Clove, I can press the button almost the entire game. I can just press the button as a controller. I can do what a controller needs to do and put a smoke in a place and press the button. If I'm Clove back here and I died, alright, if they NC, guess what? They better not play long. That would be stupid on their part. I, I died there. That's what happened there. I still can smoke. Or, alright, motherfucker, you use 2 bits of util and I have the chance to come back and do it. Assuming, like, right, let's go to the old. Um, I guess still kind of. Yeah, we still see Breach here. Whatever, but like, you get Breach on Haven. You know that that's the plan. You tell your Breach to just stun on you while they're chasing you down, right? And now you're just back, and that's all part of the game plan. So I'm just saying, not saying that we got to replace Omen with Clove on this map just so you could do that one thing with Breach, but I can press the button the entire round more or less with cooldowns, right? I can press the button. So yeah, I'm range restricted. I get to here. I can throw this. Let's go back to Clove. Throw this, and bam, and we will be coming back to Clove too. So for literally, it's just I always can do something. I don't have to worry about running out of stars, and I can get out of a situation or get revenge for the situation that happened to me. Pretty simple. So why is Viper over here? Well, from a pro player standpoint, right? I have something that can immediately, wherever, whenever, as long as fuel is up, right? So it's a refreshable. Bam. But I know it's not literally 1-to-1 right here. I don't care that much for demonstration purposes, but bam. I have the smoke. I've thrown it. I have the smoke. I have a line up here. Awesome. I've done my job, and I can be anywhere and do that, and it'll come back. It's a refreshable. That's all. It's simple. It really is. Um, Meanwhile, Astra has stars to manage, and yeah, it's not necessarily like the hardest thing to use Astra. It's really not. It definitely seemed like it on paper. Then you play Astra for a bit, and it's not. But just the sheer ability to not have to be involved in a situation and know that with some timings, you will have your shit back. Instead of having to go, oh shit, I've used 3 stars this round. I gotta make these last two count. Even as Omen, where you probably will never use 5 smokes in the round, goes, all right, team, give me 20. We failed the execute on A as I was placing, the second smoke before I even got it down. We started fucking up. Time to go to C. Let me see. Oh, we're good. We can come to C. I'm gonna plant the spike. Everybody get your ass over here. All right. Um. So on Asher, it's like, man, I have a suck, a stun, smokes, impenetrable wall. Well, bullets can't come through wall, right? Bulletproof wall. Awesome. But if I'm stuck in a situation, I'm fucked, and I don't like being fucked. That's just it. Put that in your quotes down. I am not the one that gets fucked. Okay. I would like to not have that happen to me. Pretty simple. So like that's the simple one, and then coming to Brim, there's range restriction and resource restriction. That's annoying, and they've kind of fixed it with Harbor halfway. Right? Cove now is not range restricted, and it's on a cooldown. And there's things. This is where we lean into part two, basically. Harbor showed me that we probably are underutilizing Cove. Cove and Clove, actually. Um, with Harbor, yeah. So right now he feels down here. It's like, but the wall still is range restricted, and I only get one that I can do. And then we're going to talk about Storm Surge, but we're going to stay on Harbor for right now because let's go to Ascent to better illustrate this. You can now make every agent, well, not every, sorry, a couple more agents jet and solve a problem and arguably do it better now with one particular agent. What do I mean? So, Jet, what was the answer? Okay, Jet, Cloudburst to switch, hit the switch. Hopefully you didn't get spammed by a phantom or nano swarmed off. Awesome. You got the information for us. Recon's coming in. Cool. However, with this, you have a different option, right? Let's say that Rage bounces over here. You now know to nade here, or here, or here, or here, whatever, right? But that's not the one I'm talking about because that's somebody that can, pew, pew, or pew, pew, and end there, right? Um, Yoru, sure, you can throw it there, gate crash there, pop flash out. Awesome, you can do that too. I should probably remove some of these icons as I'm doing that. Awesome, you could do that. Or you could be Waylay. You could get into here, as we know, and the problem with Waylay too is that again, it's about blowing your load way too quickly in the round and not having anything to do after that. That's where a lot of people seem to struggle with Waylay, even though I'm like, this kid on paper is pretty good. But after you toss out your, uh, I've literally just gotten the name of it, even though I just double checked. You throw out your hinder, fuck it. Throw out your hinder, you double dash into there. If you start getting nano swarmed off, because the cove is tanking bullets that they tried to shoot you through with, you just yoop back here. Or you throw your hinder where you know bullets are coming from. After the Sova dart comes in, I don't know why I put Sova. Sova dart comes in. You get the stands off. You know where to throw this and then swing off of. Perfect. Awesome. Maybe you just hear the gun. You know where to toss it and call it a day. And then if somebody did counterplay you, cough cough, you just come on back. This comes back. Yeah, your kit's done, but you're safer, right? Than just being Waylay without Cove, trying to do that out in the open and immediately taking the shots. So you immediately have to take this back. Compared to having the option to take it back while knowing which pick you can get. So I think Waylay Harbor might be a thing. Could be. Just saying. Um, Maybe teams end up developing it. And then you come into the question is like, is it better than Viper? Really depends on what the rest of the comp is. I think that's where I squarely am on. Is like it really depends what the fuck you want to do with the comp. Because I now understand, and I'm going to not name drop here, but I now understand why a particular creator was so flabbergasted at Fnatic Lotus, where now Viper Wall is even weaker. I don't know why we keep acting like it's not. By comparison, it's not, right? By comparison of what happened to other controllers, it should feel better. However, um, it's literally weaker. Punish that shit. Disrespect it. Swing through it. Pop flash through it. I promise. It's not nearly as bad as it used to be. Now is the time to just punish Viper shit. Just literally just disrespect it. You take a few health off. It'll be fine. Pop flash, call it a day. Really, truly. Alright, so losing my mind on the Viper part now too, because I'm hearing so much. It's like, but Viper's so strong now. We say that every time something happens. Literally every time something happens in a patch, it seems like, but Viper, and I don't get it. I'm starting to lose my fucking mind on it. Literally let Viper go. But to the point of this one, there it is. Now coming to the thing that Harbor showed me as to why we're underutilizing both. Well, now Clove instead of Cove was the lineup I saw on Twitter. There was weeks ago, so I don't think I'll find it again. But uh, I did see this before somebody else commented on it too, though. So I'll just say that I did see it, not just because of one person. Was a lineup for back here with Storm Surge, and going back to the entire situation. If I Cove here, Storm Surge back there, Waylay, goodness, Waylay into Cove, Saturate, goodness, I remembered now. That corner, Waylay fall off, pick whoever. If there's pressure from somewhere else, zoop 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 back. Fine, right? But um, getting all of this off screen, it did remind me that yeah, I think we actually are. Who the fuck is we? Because I was going to say at a pro level, but I think pros might be um, a little too lost on Clove. I think Clove actually does have more reason to be used than previously considered. Now, maybe as a second controller, because the smokes are uh, last the shortest, I believe, out of all of them, right? Um, so maybe as a secondary, but hell, maybe force the primary. I don't know, but literally, to that same respect, if you toss this back here, that person just drops down to one. And you know it's not fun being on one. But dum. So there's that. And I did like test, right? You can drop this and this from here. You drop those. And you can just like scoot back and throw that line up. And this will land and pop before these dissipate. So it's actually literally possible. Now, uh, if you get stalled out here, maybe that's kind of fucked. But you're probably doing this when you know that you can just go after a Sova has darted and tells you that you can, or you know that the Viper play platform is dead. Whatever, and whatever, right? This is possible just from Clove. Um, so from that aspect, I do think Clove is being underexplored, especially when this is just like instant. You don't want to take the fight against the person anymore, especially coming back to having Sova into the mix and going to the agency thing of the first half, if that drops, pops, and then shock dart happens, or a Tejo Mister's kind of slow, but hell, maybe even throw frag grenade. Maybe shit, yeah. KO frag, Sova shock dart, so they try to run off of the site, but they can't because they are now decayed and they will die one way or another. Um, this pops and gives you less time to react than a tether nade. Like Omen, going back to, how we had, right? Omen here has time to react and teleport to safety, right? We went over that. Yeah, this pops on the Omen. If you get your timings right, and again tries to do this, the Omen is fucked, and that metal pops quick. Omen is fucked on site. Literally has to hope that the paranoia goes crazy back here, right? So, just saying, there are lineups that I think are being underexplored for Clove in particular. Now, what would that composition look like if I just said double initiator? Maybe you do double initiator, double controller, no sentinel. We've seen that several times, but yeah, it usually contains Viper, who damn near is a sentinel. Or maybe you do solo Clove. Maybe some team does get crazy in solo Cloves because hey, you'll have the smokes. You'll have the smokes, and you have a lineup to make this, this take better, whatever it may be, right? Maybe you do a three-step program. You throw the metal here. You have the Chalk Dart come in here because you know that they might try to get here. And you throw the KO frag back here. I guess this is Haven, which this isn't that comp on there, but I guess that would be more of a scent kind of thing. But, they've been friends before. Uh, Having a stun cover this situation, right? Or, you didn't cross, you just do it from here. Whatever. Just coming to say that if you throw some damage behind metal, you have less time to react than you do Tether Nate. So I think Clove and this for just corners, like this is the big thing where it's just like, why would I throw Storm Surge at a corner? Like that's stupid. They could just move here and call it a day. And I agree. I said that much shit myself, right? If I do try to clear close, let's go to something that's like really tight. Let's go to bind because this is where it best in my head makes sense, right? And yes, we're flipping it to defense. If I do this here, right, fine. I'm still getting judged in the face once I go in. I do this here. Well, I can at least wall bang and start the leg swing. I can literally just run and gun across. Cause you're one. You're one. So there's that compared to not saying that you have to use one or the other here, but compared to the same situation, paranoid and hoping that it hits, which is like if you made the argument for Harbor with Storm Surge, I think it's kind of unfair on that sense because we've been doing that paranoia for ever, right? But yeah, that's a controller conversation where part one is like, yeah, agency is why these feel better than these, and this one's just undercooked right now. Not saying that he's good. I do think he needs buffs, but I do think we're not exploring enough Cove exploration. And then part two is lineups for things. So let's say that you did go Harbor, Clove, Waylay. That sounds horrible, but let's say that you did it, right? You've done it. You're here now. On the map, you throw in uh, a thing that I don't know why I keep forgetting that one's name. Wrap it up, Unc. We're done. And then we got Metal here and fucking Storm Surge here, right? Uh, cool. That's your execute. That's your execute. While having an initiator who let's say Tejo. Actually, Tejo might be a better one. Like a solo Tejo doesn't sound that absurd, right? But Teo here, Mitchell here, and here. All right. Good luck. Good luck. So, what's that comp that I just said? Even though that sounds fucking abysmal, let's just rock with it for a second. Let's see what we got. This wasn't initially part of the video, but here we go. And then I don't know, a sentinel, or second initiator. No sentinel. Who would go here? You know what? Okay, hold on. Vito, hear me out. For this execute, for this C execute, throw the chokehold, get it primed, right? Get it primed. Throw all of this shit from C long. Yeah, sure, why not? That way, if they did dodge this and they're trying to run out, they get caught by chokehold, and then they get fucking Tejo missiled. Sure. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with that. Like, you just gotta make sure that you have something for logs with this team. What would we have for logs? Kind of fucking nothing. But yeah, let's say that's what happened. Uh, I mean, honestly, clove smokes here. Harbor. I don't know. You got nothing for logs. Just make sure you watch out for logs, I guess, or top a platform. That's all you got. But so I'd have to say that that's where we're coming up on with the controller discussion, part 1 and 2 of agency, and maybe we should be playing Clove, or Pro should be playing Clove, because we're doing that in ranked anyway. But yeah, if you like the video, like it. Got a comment for me, comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.